Allowing ourselves to feel without building up barriers or avoiding what we are actually feeling is what allows us to move forward. The denial of our emotions and feelings, this wall that we ourselves build towards what we are really feeling, blocks the path to a more conscious and well being life. Welcome to the eighth chapter of Clichés Reinvented, Reinventing Life's Clichés, a space where I'm going to share information, thoughts, and insights to help us both live a life in consciousness. These are reflections that have helped me with my personal growth and to live happier and more conscious. This is why now I want to share them with you today. I want to thank you for being here and taking the time to listen to this podcast while you're walking in your car, walking your dog, going your way to work, to study, if you're cooking, whatever you're doing. Thank you for deciding to be here with me and with yourself. Allow yourself to feel. Emotions is a fairly complex and broad subject because it has different branches of knowledge that come up from this great subject. That even a book or a number of books could be written discussing only the subject of emotions. However, today I will share a reflection on why and how we should begin to accept our emotions instead of ignoring them and get a better understanding on how these are the ones that make us humans. Emotions are really beautiful, you know? They are the ones that give us this sensitivity, these feelings. They are the ones that makes this earthly experience an increasingly emotional and exciting experience. They are like a roller coaster. They go up and down. Actually, they don't even last too long. And this is their purpose, to flow, to be in constant change. They come and go. And this is how we should treat them. Emotions can be misleading, and we must learn to manage them because if we don't know how, they can easily take control of our lives. And this is when the balance is lost, and it is no longer really us who have control over our lives. Instead, our emotions are the ones that begins to lead our life. And this is what should not happen. The time may come when our life is controlled by a single emotion. As well as happiness, it can also be sadness, fear, anger, stress, and these are seen in the outside world or within you when people get angry about anything or they have a bad face and a bad attitude the whole time, or people who are always sad and they see the negative in absolutely everything, or those who live in fear of anything bad that could happen. And actually, it's okay. These emotions are present for some reason, some past trauma or experience that we were not able to heal in the best way, and that stayed inside us getting bigger and bigger. So, if we know that ours is being controlled by an emotion, it is time to see it, accept it, understand why it continues being present in our lives, and understand that we must evolve. We must channel these emotions or this emotion. Something quite interesting happens with happiness because here we are not talking about happiness itself as well being, like I want to be happy, I want to have a happy life. No, we're talking about the pure emotion. This moment, this instant when you feel so happy, when you want to cry, when you want to laugh, when you want to scream, this tiny moment. And there is a thin line between living really happy or faking this happiness. It can happen that at the moment of deciding to live a more conscious life and change our mindset, we become obsessed with being well, with being good, being okay. And this, I think, is one of the biggest problems. I say this from my experience because it happens that you start to force yourself to be always good, be always okay, and being good should be felt, not forced. You feel that that since you want to improve your life, it means that you must always be happy all the time, and no, this is not what it means to live better. When you change the way you live your life and think for the better, the first thing to do is to fully accept how we feel right now, then see why we are feeling this way and what is the next step to take if this emotion truly has a high degree of importance, and what I am and what my life is in this moment. The emotions, feeling anger, fear, sadness, these are all emotions that are usually seen as negative. But in the long run, they are normal and they are part of us. They are part of the human being. We cannot pretend to evade them or escape from them because they seem adverse. The important thing is to learn and know how to channel them in the best way. When we allow ourselves to feel, breathe, and come back to our center, it is the most beautiful thing because you allow yourself to be yourself without the need to pretend what you're not feeling or that nothing is wrong with you when in fact it does. But you don't go to the extreme of letting yourself be controlled by your emotions, and you don't let them guide or lead your life, because the important thing is to live our emotions consciously. When I speak of living our emotions consciously, I am referring to allowing ourselves to feel without judging ourselves, just feeling. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. If you feel angry, get angry. If you're stressed, then get stressed, and so on. Allow emotions to flow. But wait, here comes the most important thing of all. It is important to give them their space, recognize them, but this cannot last forever. Nor is it ideal that these emotions that we are feeling cause harm to another person. That is why it is so important to know how to channel their energy, because sometimes they are so strong and we have not prepared ourselves to control them that they end up taking control over us. And this is what should not happen when it comes to negative emotions such as sadness or anger, or even happiness when it becomes an obligation or obsession. All these emotions bring a message from behind. There was a reason, a cause for this to arise within us. Managing our emotions is not an easy job, and there is a thin line in between controlling and managing our emotions to trying to avoid them. The truth is that this cannot be avoided. You must learn to feel them in a healthy way, to accept them and channel them. Later, I will give some examples of how we can channel our emotions. So, it happens that people who live their lives much more consciously in peace, like the monks, they have learned not to depend on their emotions. But this does not happen overnight. This takes time and it is a whole process and a progress. What happens when different emotions come into our lives at any time? We can't try to run away from them, ignore them, or pretend they don't even exist, because they are there and they will continue to be there until we give them the attention and recognition they need and deserve. If this is not done, this will always come out at any time, and most likely it will not be in the best way. When you're able to truly recognize how you're really feeling, how you react to different situations, what goes through your mind in determined situations, you get closer to yourself to see who you really are and what are you capable of, because you're able to accept yourself through the acceptance of your emotions. When you manage to accept and channel them, you manage to consciously distance yourself from them, see them from the outside, and you don't become them. Each person has their way of channeling their different emotions. No matter what these are, what this is, the important thing is that we give them the importance they deserve and learn to heal and feel them. Then it comes when you ask yourself if what you're feeling is really you, or if you really identify yourself, because emotions are temporary. Then they just pass through, they flow, and you continue with your calm life. Do not cling to them, or do not allow them to take over much of your thoughts in your life. It is important to ask yourself if it is really or serious that we feel the way we're feeling, or it was just a moment, and then in reality what you felt is not you, or that in reality, if there is a bigger reason to feel that way, because maybe there is, since there are momentary emotions that sometimes we make something really big and a whole drama out of them, when in reality they are not so bad sometimes. But other times there are emotions that go unnoticed and actually have a really big message behind them and a reason to arise and to be in our lives. So, in the same way that we talk about acceptance being everything, that acceptance is present everywhere, as we talked in the acceptance chapter. If you haven't heard it, I really recommend you to listen to it. So, as acceptance is everything, it's not about just accepting our emotions and not doing anything about it. Because people are like, okay, then, yeah, I'm sad, and yeah, I feel angry, and what I'm gonna do? Yeah, my boyfriend left me, so I'm gonna cry. Yeah, my girlfriend left me, and I'm crying, 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 and done and doing nothing about it. No, because yes, we accept emotions, we feel them, we allow them, we allow ourselves to cry, scream, laugh, whatever, without judging ourselves. But we cannot stay there. We need to see why they arise in ourselves, discover what is behind them, and what we must do to heal them, to keep forward, allow ourselves to live them consciously and moving forward, not to stay in them. Just as I mentioned before, each of us has its own way to channel its emotions. I'm going to share with you what has worked for me and what I've heard that helps people. First of all, writing, journaling, writing how you really feel. Based on my own experience, writing how I feel, it has been such a wonderful tool. Like, I just write how I feel with no filter, no barriers, no anything. I just write, and I take out everything I have inside me, and it's really been so helpful. Another option is to meditate to accept how we are feeling, allowing us to feel, taking this moment for us, not meditating looking desperately to be in calm and just quiet yourself. No, just to feel. Breath work can be also a really helpful technique when emotions come and we feel stressed or anything that ruins our balance. As well, techniques such as Ho'oponopono. I don't know if you have heard them. This is the repetition of words like mantras. There are actually many, but the most used or known are like I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you repeat, repeat, repeat until you just chill yourself. Just calm down. Another method is to speak to someone we trust about how we are truly feeling, like get this, all these emotions, all these feelings out. I know that through my podcast, I've made a lot of emphasis in the self, in the I, on being with ourselves. However, we live in a community, in society, surrounded by people for some reason, and we should take advantage of this opportunity that lives give us to surround ourselves with people who support us and give us their love. When it is not that easy to, I know that for some people it's not that easy to be with themselves and just by their own, it's always a good option to talk to someone, open yourself, and talk about how you're feeling, to take it all out. If emotions are not channeled the right way, they get accumulated and get stuck. Just like cars when there's like an accident on their street or something, cars keep coming. They keep coming, and at the end there's just a huge traffic jam because they were not able to keep going. And it's the same with our emotions. They just get stuck until we have lots of emotions unprocessed. And well, you know what happens when this occurs. The moment when you least think about it, the slightest thing may happen and you just explode. Emotions take you out of your center and you lose complete control of yourself. This happens because you have not correctly channeled your emotions. You have ignored them for so long that in the end, they end up giving you a bad time, and they always find a way to come out. When you explode, regret comes. You say things that you didn't mean to. Um, the way you behaved wasn't intentional. Excuses come. You harm others. You say that you don't know what happened to you. That's not you. And okay, it's true. Yeah, it wasn't you. You lost control, but it was because you repressed your emotions for way too long. And then you continue your life. These hard situations pass and you keep on going, but then it comes back. The same things happen, same situation. Then we regret it happened again, and this cycle keeps on going and keeps repeating itself until you stop and reflect on what the hell you're feeling. And it has happened to me. I say it from my own experience in moments of my life in which I did not speak, I did not say how I felt, what I thought, and not only was the fact that I didn't told others, but I did not give myself the space to tell myself how I was feeling, to acknowledge what I was thinking, everything, to recognize that something was wrong. And then this trying to pretend that we are like super strong and that nothing and no one bring us down or nothing will ever affect us is just fake. It's false. I mean, it happened to me that I withheld my emotions for so long that at the least expected moment I just exploded because I was carrying so much sadness, fear, thoughts, negative thoughts, things in my head that I had never noticed before, that I lost myself for a moment. And it has happened several times in my life, of course, with my parents, with people, previous relationship, that everything reaches a moment where it just explodes. And now that I think about it, these explosions, dramas, misunderstandings can be avoided. Yes, by immediately recognizing what we are feeling. The moment we start to feel, give ourselves this space to cry, to feel sad, to feel anger, whatever, and speak up, whatever it is. And I repeat, because like it's for real. In my case, when I have no one to tell how I feel, I write it. I talk to God. Sometimes I write it first, like for myself with no filters, like how I literally feel, and then I speak to God, like more calm down, and acknowledging already what has gone through my mind and what has happened to me. But the truth is that it's normal to feel that turbulence of emotions, and look that when they are treated at the right time, in the right way, they do not become a huge problem or a giant snowball, which then costs a lot more to heal. All our actions are moved by emotions, what we feel inside of us. When you're really aware of what you feel and you give yourself your moment to feel, cry, whatever, fully, you come to the next step. Because we cannot stay crying our whole lives, or with fear or anger our whole lives, like, because we are losing all the beauty that life has for us. Accepting is the first step to action, action that we should take. And like all emotions, we have to channel them and see what we must do to keep on going and improving, because they did not arise from nothing. The answers about what you should do, only you know them, no one else. But the answer will never be the conflict. That's why they say don't make decisions when you're upset or altered or making harm to somebody else. This ecstasy of these emotions only lasts an instant. So, whatever is the action that you shall take must be directed from love and nothing else. Thank you for arriving to the end of this beautiful chapter that I really enjoyed making. I don't know if you heard my voice is a little bit different because I'm with a little flu, but still I'm here sending you love, spreading consciousness. I really hope you enjoy it. Share this audio with people you love and that you know it can work, it can help to hear this. Thank you very much. Follow Cliches Reinvented in Instagram, cliches underscore re underscore invented. See you on the next one. Bye. Love you guys.